Hello Sunbeamers, how are you? I hope you all are fine. So today we are going to start the second part of your chapter. The name of the chapter is Medieval Europe, Rise and Spread of Christianity. So in the previous class, we have read about how Christianity was found and how it grew in Europe. Okay, we have also read about Roman Empire. Okay, so in today's class, we will read what was the cause for decline of ancient Roman Empire. Okay, what was the cause of decline of ancient Roman Empire? We will read. The Western Roman Empire lasted for about 1600 years. The repetitive attacks from the barbarian tribes and the slave rebellions weakened the empire. What weakened the empire? What was the cause of weakening? Weakening means unka strength kam ho gaya. What was the cause of weakening of the empire? The repetitive attacks from the barbarian tribes and slave rebellions. Okay, the repetitive attacks from the barbarian tribes or and the slave rebellions. They weakened the empire. See, the strength of the empire is the army. Every empire you see, if the army is strong, then they can easily capture or they can easily protect their own kingdom. But the army becomes weak, the kingdom or the empire becomes weak. So in the Roman Empire, what happened? The army became weak. The army, they became weak. Okay. And finally, the Roman Empire came to the end in the 5th century AD. When it came to end, 5th century means approximately at 500 AD, 600, 500 AD तक, 400 से 500 AD के बीच में जो है आपका रोमन एम्पायर का एंड हो गया. 400 to 500, मैक्सिमम 500 AD तक उसका सब कुछ एंड हो गया. 5th century means 400 to 500 के बीच. Okay. Now, in the BC 73 means 73 years before the birth of Jesus Christ, 70,000 slaves under the Spartacus rebelled and highly trained Roman army spent more than a year to bring peace. Okay. So what happened in BC 73? There was a leader of the slaves. His name was Spartacus. See, this name you have to remember. The leader of the slaves were the Spartacus, and they rebelled against the king. Why? See, the reason of slave rebellion is the torture the kings or the high class people give to the slaves. It is very hard to tolerate. So what the slaves did, they rebelled against the Roman Empire, and the highly trained Roman army spent more than a year. उनको 1 साल लग गया peace लाने के लिए, because the rebellion was so strong that it took more than a year to bring peace. Who did the rebellion? The 70,000 slaves under the leader Spartacus. Constant rebellion naturally drained the resource of the royal coffers. Okay, so barbar continuously they were rebelling against the empire. The slaves were rebelling against the tortures they were tolerating. Okay, that the high class people was giving to them, and the constant rebellion drained the natural resources of the royal coffers. Royal coffers is a treasury. Every country and every empire has a treasury. और उस ट्रेजरी से ही जो है खर्चा सब होता है. The expenses of an empire comes from the royal coffers. Royal coffers means the treasury. Constant rebellions from the slaves drain the resources. Why it will drain? See, if army will work continuously to bring peace, surely they have to supply food, water, everything to the army. So it will drain the resource of the royal coffers, and the royal coffers will come to down. Royal coffers will decrease. The resource of the royal coffers will decrease, and obviously, if money decreases, the empire becomes weak. The final blow to the Roman Empire came when Rome was invaded by German tribes. See, when the final blow came, when it was invaded by German tribes from the north by the Goths, Franks, Visigoths, and Vandals. This one you have to remember. Who invaded the Rome? The German tribes from the north by the Goths, Franks, Visigoths, and Vandals. Finally, in AD 476, see, I was telling you, 400 to 500 was the main time period AD in which the Roman Empire came to the end. Exact year is given in AD 476. The Vandals, who overthrew the emperor, the Vandals overthrew the emperor and took possession of the western part of the empire. The Western Roman Empire was taken part by the Vandals in the year 80 AD 476. Now, what was the impact on Europe? What was the impact on Europe? The Roman Empire in the West collapsed as a result of barbarian invasions, but the East continued about 1,000 years, and the Eastern Roman Empire or Byzantine Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire or Byzantine Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire का अलग नाम क्या था? The Byzantine Empire. Okay, and the Turks conquered this part of the Roman Empire in AD 453 and renamed Constantinople as Istanbul. What happened in the previous class? I have told you about Constantinople. Constantinople, who was the Roman emperor who embraced Christianity. What he did, he renamed the Greek city of Byzantine as Constantinople. Okay, and here what happened in the eastern part? See, if this is the Roman Empire, suppose I am in this is the Roman Empire. If you are into two parts, this is the east part and this is the west part. This west part is conquered by the Vandals. Who conquered it? The Vandals conquered it. And the eastern part was conquered by the Turks. Eastern part by the Turks, and the city of Constantinople was renamed as Istanbul. Now Istanbul is in Turkey. Okay. City of Constantinople was named as Istanbul. The fall of Constantinople encouraged the growth of small state. Okay, see what happened when the country becomes weak, the states began to become strong. Now you see the condition of Pakistan we will bring into consideration. Pakistan is now becoming weak country. So by that what happens? The state or provinces of Pakistan are becoming strong. They want independence. So same thing is happening here. When the Constantinople or the Eastern Roman Empire began to become weak or began to fall, means उनका जो growth है वो कम decrease हो गया. They became very weak and they were not able to manage their empire. What happened? This encouraged growth of small states. Okay, छोटे-छोटे small state होंगे वो खुद का independence चाहे. They want their own independence. About AD 800, King Charlemagne founded an empire in the modern France and Germany. Okay, they founded an empire in the modern France and Germany. आजकल जो modern France है उस near वो एक empire found किए. But this empire disintegrated after his death. उसके death के बाद empire disintegrate हो गया, मतलब बिखर गया. By AD 1000, a new empire called the Holy Roman Empire was established in Germany and Austria. Austria is a country in Europe. So by AD 1000, what happened? A new empire, Holy Roman Empire, was established in Germany and Austria. So many kingdoms, big and small, emerged in other parts of Western Europe during the medieval period. So what happened? As the main Roman Empire became weak, so in the medieval period, what happened? The new empire form होना शुरू हो गया. क्यों फॉर्म होना शुरू हो गया? क्योंकि वीक हो गया ना रोमन एम्पायर क्यों वीक हो गया? जर्मन इन्वेजन हो गया, जर्मनी से इन्वेड हो गया, बार्बरियन ट्राइब्स इन्वेड करने लगे. ठीक है, वो स्लेव ट्राइब्स इन्वेड करने लगे, उनके बीच में रेबेलियन हो गया. हाँ, इस वजह से क्या हुआ? वीक हो गया. कौन वीक हो गया? Roman Empire weak हो गया. This resulted in weakening of the Roman Empire, and this gave rise to small kingdoms in the West Europe. Emergence of Turks and Crusades. Okay, Turks and Crusades का emergence कैसे हुआ देखो. Christianity was gradually accepted by the Roman emperors and later by the chiefs of other European kingdoms. तो धीरे धीरे Christianity जो था वो Roman emperors accept किए. They accepted Christianity and other European kingdoms also accepted the Christianity religion. The church became powerful institution and the Pope became the head of the Christian world in West Europe. Now the Pope is the your head of Christians or the main Christian in whole the world. But that time in the West Europe, the Pope was the head of the Christian. His seat of authority was in Rome. Okay, now it is in Vatican City. His seat of authority was in Rome. The Pope had supreme authority in medieval Europe and could command kings to obey his orders. Okay, the देखो पोप जो रिलीजियस लीडर्स जो होते हैं रिलीजियस जो पीपल होते हैं बाबा हो गए हमारे आचार्य हो गए हिंदू रिलीजन वी हैव आचार्यस so what they do they have a very good power they instruct the kings okay and also sometimes what happen if the king takes wrong decision the this religious teachers or religious leaders what they did they instruct the king to follow the right decision so that the empire will not face any trouble तो उनका किंगडम उसमें कुछ ट्रबल ना हो इसीलिए जो होते हैं रिलीजियस लीडर्स जो होते हैं वो क्या करते हैं किंग्स को करेक्ट डिसीजन लेने के लिए हेल्प करते हैं ठीक है ओके The conquest of the Byzantine Empire by the Turks had great consequences. The Pope wanted to recover the territory of Holy Roman Empire from the Turks. Turks were basically Islam, okay, Islam kind of religion. So what did the Pope wanted to recover the territory of the whole Holy Empire from the Turks. The king of European countries supported the Pope and sent their vassals. Vassals means feudal lords. Feudal lords with the feudalism. First class we have studied feudalism means giving money in form of land. Land के through से जो money पे हो जाए उसको बोलते हैं feudalism. और feudal lords को तो वही lord जिनको feudalism के through से हम लोग मतलब पे करते हैं. The lords who are paid by the feudalism are the feudal lords with armies to help the Pope to recover the territory. The feudal lords were actually very powerful landlords. Land was their source of power. They were military governors and the feudal system allowed them to have an army. The wars against the Turks were called holy wars or crusades. So what was the war against the Turks called? Holy wars or crusades. Why this was made? To recover the Christian territory, the Pope decided to wanted to recover the territories of Holy Roman Empire. The Pope wanted to recover the territories. So what they did, the kings of the European countries, they sent feudal lords. Feudal lords means the landlords who has the land power. And also in the first class I have told you that feudal lords has an army because they were military governors. So they sent to their kings sent their feudal lords, their armies to the Turks टू रिकवर उनका टेरिटरी वापस लाने के लिए क्योंकि टर्क्स जो है वो क्रिश्चियनिटी को एम्ब्रेस नहीं करते थे वो क्रिश्चियनिटी को सपोर्ट नहीं करते थे लेकिन क्रिश्चियनिटी को बचाने के लिए व्हाट दे डिड दे सेंट देयर आर्मीज टू द टर्क्स टू रिकवर द एम्पायर को वापस लाने के लिए The Europeans failed to recover the territory. However, due to the Crusades, they came into contact with Arab traders. The rich feudal lords became increasingly interested in buying luxurious items coming from the east that were sold by Arab merchants. Arab जो होता है वो Turks and Arabs are very closely related. बहुत नजदीक ज्यादा दूर नहीं है. So what happened? The Europeans they failed in the Holy War. They failed. But what happened? They set a good business with the Arab traders. Arab traders में क्या होता था? Arab traders they sold wealthy Arab items, Arab products. Arabic जो लोग थे Arab लोग they sold wealthy Arab products and what the Europeans bought it from the Arab merchants. Very soon, a group of middle-class men, the merchants of Europe, started buying goods from the Arab merchants and sold them to the feudal lords. In the course, the merchants become extremely wealthy and the lords wasted their wealth due to their extravagance. This was the major reason for the downfall of feudal lords. See, धीरे धीरे क्या हो गया जो मर्चेंट्स है अरब मर्चेंट्स है वो धीरे धीरे सेल करने लगे they sold very expensive products to the feudal lords और feudal lords they did not मतलब वो सोच नहीं पाए कि अरे ये इतना costly चीज है या they did not think that this is very costly and they bought it from the Arab merchants and by the course of time what happened by the course of time the feudal lords became short of wealth उनके पास wealth का कमी हो गया they became short of wealth why they became short of wealth because see if you buy expensive products continuously then obviously your wealth will decrease your money will decrease and if your money will decrease your power will also decrease and if your power will decrease that will result in your declination or downfall So this was the reason for the downfall of the feudal lords. So if question will come, what was the reason for downfall of feudal lords? Your answer will be continuous buying of Arabic products from the Arab merchants. Okay. Okay. Due to extravagance. Extravagance means ऐसो आराम वाली जिंदगी. Okay. The churches and the monasteries of Europe made a number of contributions to the society. They served as monasteries where the missionaries wrote copies of Bibles. See, monasteries means होता है religious एक स्कूल होता है, institution होता है, जिसमें क्रिश्चियनिटी के बारे में क्रिश्चियंस को पढ़ाया जाता है. हुआ. In Hindus we have your gurukuls. In Muslims they have madrasas, and in Christians we have Christian monasteries. So उसमें जो monasteries में जो missionaries होते हैं वो बाइबल का manuscript लिखते हैं. They write Bible, and since they were उस time previous time there was no printing facility, these handwritten Bibles were also in use because printing facility was not there. So the Bibles were handwritten, and in handwritten only they were taught. The churches also became centers of education. The language of learning was Latin. See, before English was not the language. The mainly spoken language was Latin. But when English came, many people become acquainted in speaking English, and Latin became a very, very rare language. Now also Latin is a very rare language. English is a very flourished or very well vastly spoken language. Many of the population of the world speak English. Okay, and Latin is rarely spoken in some parts of the world, or it is not at all spoken, if I rather say that, because English has taken over Latin. But at the previous times, Latin was spoken, and the Bible was written in Latin, and also the Bible was taught in Latin. Okay. Also, subjects of grammar, logic, arithmetic, theology was taught. Later, many universities such as Paris, Bologna, Oxford, Cambridge were started by the churches. See, these universities are the top class universities now. Paris University, Bologna University in Italy, Oxford University in England, Cambridge in England. They were all started by the churches. Okay. Here, this one, churches are the best specimens of medieval European architecture. Obviously, see, if you see St. Peter's Church, it is a very, very well epitome or example of architecture. Nicely उसमें architecture को depict किया गया है. अच्छे से architecture को जो Peter Church है, Peter Church, the picture of Peter Church, if I will show you this one, see how well this church is made architecture wise. The windows, the pillars, the sculptures, everything. They are built so properly that the churches are the very, very good examples of architecture, European architecture. The earlier churches followed the Roman style with spacious central halls. Central halls क्या होता है? Central halls होता है prayer करने के लिए. क्या करने के लिए? Prayer. तो central hall में जो है वो Christians come and they pray to Jesus. Round arches, rows of columns. From the 12th century, a new style called the Gothic architecture. 12th century से क्या होगा? New style develop हो गया. Gothic architecture was developed in France. कहाँ develop हुआ? France में develop हुआ. The buildings had lanceolate arches with pointed tips, and the walls, windows, walls and windows. सब कुछ था, windows भी well stained glasses, and well stained glasses use होता था windows में, जो कि beauty को add करता था. This was the chapter Christianity. Okay, so if you face any doubt, you can ask me in doubt engine of our website. In the next class, we will probably read your chapter from civics, that is your Constitution of India. Till then, thank you. Bye bye and take care. Okay, stay hydrated, take care of your health, maintain a good hygiene. Okay, thank you.